What's going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Ford GT. Now, roll the intro. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. Make sure you like, rate, subscribe for more car reviews. Now, what I want to say about this car, the Ford GT, I have a lot of respect for this car. A lot of you guys that grew up in the 90s and early 2000s that played PlayStation 2, Xbox, Nintendo, you remember games like Test Drive. You remember games like Need for Speed, Gran Turismo. You remember all them games that we used to play. The Ford GT dates back to the Ferrari days when Ford wanted to buy Ferrari. Well, Enzo closed out the deal. Ford wasn't able to buy the Ferrari. They was upset. So they decided to make a mid-engine vehicle to compete with the Ferraris. And the Ford GT kicked their butts. Fast forward to 2005, Ford brought the GT back. One of the reasons they brought the Ford GT back because they needed an answer to Dodge's Viper. And then Chevy made the Corvette faster because of the Viper, and Ford needed an answer. Now, the Ford GT have always been really, really expensive. My problem with this vehicle is that it's too expensive. Yes, I understand they did good in the sales. They only had a limited amount of units that they made, and then they had to make more units because of the demand for them. But if I was a rich person, I would not pay a lot for this vehicle because, first of all, if I was a rich person and I'm going to pay over $700,000 to over $1 million for a supercar, it better not be a 6-cylinder. The Ford GT is a 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6 producing 550 pound-feet of torque with twin turbos. I understand Ford went in this direction to make this car as light as possible. And plus, with the way it's designed, I don't even think a V8 can fit in it. But to price this $700,000 to over $1 million is crazy. I would not pay that much if I was a multi-millionaire or billionaire. I remember when the Ford GT came out in 2017, John Cena bought the vehicle and he broke the policy because they said that you couldn't sell it within a certain amount of time. And John Cena wanted to get rid of the Ford GT that he bought, and he got in trouble and made headlines. And when this car came out, you had to fit a certain requirement to even buy the car. It was so many restrictions. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, you got all these restrictions to buy this vehicle. It's not a V8. It's a 6-cylinder EcoBoost twin turbo charged engine. And it's too overpriced. The Ford GT always had that unique, timeless image to where you can differentiate between the Ford GT and the Ferrari, the Ford GT, the Bugatti, the Koenigseggs, the McLarens, the Porsches. It just had that different look to it. And Ford knows that people love the Ford GT, so they like, okay, we're going to overprice this. Now, they accomplished their goal, but at the same time, I think Ford scammed those people that bought the Ford GT because it's a 6-cylinder. It's still a 6-cylinder engine. I know Ferrari then had 6-cylinder supercars, but they shouldn't be costing that much. This car should have been a V8 twin turbo engine, and they should have designed it to where a V8 can fit in there. But I understand they was just doing it to make it as light as possible because they wanted the best times, I guess, around the Nürburgring and stuff. Ford need to have another car under the Ford GT. Maybe take the Thunderbird and make a mid-engine Thunderbird or something. Make a mid-engine vehicle that's actually affordable because the Corvette, I'm not no Corvette fan, but at least the ZR1X got the fastest Nürburgring lap time right now until Dodge decided to bring the Viper back to destroy it. And they priced it at a good price. At least it's not Ford GT priced. I mean, the ZR1X would destroy the Ford GT, and it's cheaper. Chevy pretty much outdid you with the Corvette. Now, the C8 mid-engine vehicle ain't the best looking, in my opinion, but they outdid you for it because this vehicle will outrun the Ford GT and is way cheaper. So what is the point of buying a Ford product over 700,000 to over $1 million when you can just buy a ZR1X for a fraction of the price? Or if you really want to go crazy, you can buy a used Dodge Viper ACR Extreme and put turbos in it, just like Calvo Motorsports do with the Viper, which the Viper can compete with the Bugatti Veyrons with those turbos that Calvo provide. What is the point of buying a Ford GT that much money when you can modify a supercar that's way cheaper to destroy the Ford GT in the race? What logic is that? Ford, the next time you bring the Ford GT back, you need to make a variant of this vehicle that's affordable to the masses. Because this is crazy. Y'all already scamming people with the Ford Mustang GTD. I mean, who in their right mind, unless you filthy rich and you a diehard Ford fan, will pay over $300,000 for a Mustang? I understand that vehicle like held a record at the Nürburgring, short-lived until the ZR1X beat it. But $300,000 is not a Porsche. It's not a Ferrari. It's not a Lamborghini. You making the Mustang into something it's not. It's not a supercar. Okay? It's a Ford Mustang at the end of the day. The Ford GT is overpriced. The car should have had a V8 variant with twin turbocharged, and it shouldn't be costing over $1 million. That's just my opinion. I understand there's going to be some Ford diehard fans that's going to be upset at what I said, but the thing is, it's not worth over $1 million. It's not even worth $700,000. For that, for a supercar to be worth that much, it better, at minimum, the top speed better be 250 miles an hour with a V8, V10, V12, or 16-cylinder engine. And I mean, the way it look, it better be looking very, very expensive. The rims better be made of diamonds and gold if it's going to cost over $1 million. That interior better be on point. Everything about that car better be on point. If I was a millionaire or a billionaire spending that kind of money, I would ask questions as a millionaire, billionaire. Why should I pay this much for this vehicle? Well, that's just me. But give me your thoughts. Do you think the Ford GT is worth over 700,000 to over $1 million? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe. Peace.